This is a little Pocket 1911, shoots 380. This is the Mustang Pocketlite from Colt. It's a fantastic little firearm. And something that I just love about this, it's something that seems to be lost nowadays in a lot of ways, but we have ourselves an all-metal gun. Now this gun is cast. We've got a cast stainless steel slide here. We've got cast aluminum here. But the only thing this thing's missing right here is the little grip safety. Other than that, you got yourselves a fine little 1911 Mockery. You also don't have the bushing right here in the front. I think there are some versions that have it. This one do not. I have not had an opportunity to shoot this. Hopefully that will be coming very soon. For size comparison, right there with the LCP2. Let's see if we can get that right there. So the size is not that far off. It's just a little bit bigger than the LCP series of the Ruger 380s. But it does weigh substantially more. It's not a 1911 trigger by any means. It also doesn't just go straight back. That's the other big difference between it and a 1911. You can see this little pin right here. That trigger actually pivots on that pin. So if we are going to pull that trigger, it's not horrible. The trigger's pretty good. It's not super crisp, super light like you'd expect on most single actions, especially on a 1911. This one is going to be a 1998, 1999 series towards the end of the first round of these. They brought them back, made some improvements. I believe the newer ones they made had a metal trigger. I can't remember when they brought those back. But for whatever reason, they don't make these anymore. But I really, really do like these. And I think they do have a wonderful place in concealed carry. But especially due to the weight and the complexity, I think it's its main drawback. Its strengths appear to be the quality of the materials. I can't say, as I said, I can't say anything as to the reliability, but the quality of the build and everything, I would be shocked if this was not reliable. I like the attention to detail that they've spent on the stainless steel magazine. The bottom plate, you got the nice little prancing pony logo. They're all 6-round magazines. I believe you could get this in a little bit higher magazine capacity as well. Something that people didn't like and sometimes mention is you've got this little clip right here that's visible, and it is kind of ugly. And it's kind of shocking to see on a gun. But even on the newer models, when they brought this back, that was one of the things they left. They stayed true to the original design. The safety has a nice ka-chunk, ka-chunk. If you're holding this pistol in your hand and you don't want to change your grip, it's really hard to change. It's hard to manipulate that safety into the on position. If you want to disengage the safety when it's on, you do not have to change your hand position at all. If you are going to use that slide lock release, that one, very, very comfortable, easy to use. And it's large right here. So you got this nice gription pattern right there. Your thumb can easily get that. It's not going to slip off. Or you have your standard sights. You have your milled in front sight posts, your dovetailed rear sight. So that sight picture for me is actually very easy to acquire very fast. So if you look on this side, you have this little nubbins right there. That is part of that's the other end of the post on the slide lock. That's where you're gonna have to push on that to disassemble. So you're gonna slide this back until you see this little half moon notch line up with that slide release. You're gonna push in and just pull that out. It comes out very easy. And then this just slides right apart. So this ejector right here is spring loaded. That's for reassembly. When you're sliding the slide back, you're gonna have to push this down. One thing, as you're cleaning it, be careful that as you're cleaning down in the magazine well and everything, you don't push this all the way. It will rotate through, and it is a pain in the neck to get that to pop back up. You've got to take off the hand grip. It takes 2 people. You've got to push on the main spring and reset this. You can't just rotate it back up. If you have done that and you need a video on how to fix that, let me know and I'll make one. Very simple. It's just a cast aluminum frame They've milled out where the slide goes onto this. So your recoil spring and piston, it is plastic. That would have been a cost-saving measure. I think if I were the owner of this, I think I would be replacing this with a stainless steel rod. That's just me personally. And then you have 2 springs right here. And then to get the barrel out, it doesn't just simply slide out. You gotta not quite manhandle it, but you do have to overcome some friction and some tightness. And you're gonna pull back and pull up, and then it'll make that click, and then this releases. And it is pretty easy, but it doesn't just slide out like on most other firearms. So I like to have this all lubed up real nicely. The machining on this barrel is not polished. It's good. It's high quality in the fact that it's consistent and it's smooth, but it's just a little bit. If you run your fingernail across it, you can feel the mill marks right here on the barrel. Over here on the chamber end, everything's nice and smooth. The feed ramp is very smooth and machined fantastically. You could polish this up to a mirror polish. I don't think you need to though. So the riflings, they're nice, crisp, they're deep, they're clean. This is a cast piece. And so as you see on the inside of this slide, it's kind of a matte finish. And then you can see wherever, it's hard to see on this camera, but where they've machined it very well, very nicely. You see that same application on the side of the slide where they've machined this portion and polished that up, and the top is matte. If you want to get the ejector out, you're just going to push down on the spring-loaded firing pin right there and slide that gate down. Now, if I just keep sliding that gate, that firing pin has a tendency and propensity to just shoot out. So I suggest that you put your finger or thumb over a portion of that, then reach up in there, slide that gate out, and then you have your firing pin right there. That spring comes off, and then you can clean out that firing pin hole as well. Now, your extractor, if you've been shooting it a lot, isn't just going to slide out, but you should be able to get your extractor out right out the back very easily. You can see where the gate locks that in. The geometries on that extractor are very hard to clean unless you have this out. So I don't know that you have to do that all the time, but I would make that a regular part of your maintenance on this. You'll just have to look at the wear marks so that you have that lined up. I don't think it really truly matters if it's upside down, inside out, but I like to keep it consistent. And that's the hardest part, is keeping that extractor in place. So what I try to do is I push the spring down, push up on the gate, and then lock it into place. Then it hooks onto that little step. Then I can move my extractor where I want to. Dang it. Kind of get it in place. So you just push on that firing pin, you push up on the loading gate, but this has to be perfectly in line. And it's going to click up into place. Everything's locked in, everything's bueno. So you're just going to put that in the same way you took it out. And it just drops right in, just a little bit of love. Now the one thing that I do find is a little bit tougher on this is getting this piston in there. You've got to get the plastic end of that through that hole first a little bit. Then you go ahead and snap that down. And that might be why that has to be plastic, because it might have to have some flexibility in order to get it to bend into place. Now you've got that slide assembly together. You put the slide on the frame. This is where you're going to push that spring-loaded ejector rod down. Push that down. Get that over. After that, you're good to go. You're going to pull that back so you've got that notch lining up with this hole here. And then you want to make sure that your barrel lug is lined up. Insert that in. There you go. So there you have the Colt 380 Mustang Pocketlite. I gotta be honest, this thing is just a sweet little gun. I can't wait to go test it out. Anyway, let's see how it works.